Well, Eric, we really appreciate you coming, and we have Dale here too for whomever is on Zoom. I appreciate you coming as well.
Yeah, Dale is our server lead.
Ah.
So he can help answer some questions. I assume that may come up in terms of storage options after we do this.
Great.
So yeah, I'm Eric Carr from CSS IT. I've met most of you now. I don't know that I've met you, Dennis.
I'm Dennis.
Dennis. Sorry, you are?
Lynette.
Lynette. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I've spoken to you, just never met you.
You're done.
I'm Chrissy. I spend most of the time at Harborview.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay. So, yeah, some background you may or may not know why this is taking place. I was speaking to Michelle about OneDrive. She had some questions. We ended up having a fairly long conversation about just how OneDrive works, how to use it, some of the functionality, and I offered, hey, I could do a demo for you guys, and she took me up on that, and here we are. So,
thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So just to kind of preface this, this isn't CSS IT saying, you know, you should all use OneDrive, or, you know, this is the new solution, everybody needs to switch over. This is more of an informative, this is a service that's available to you through UW that you can take advantage of, and we can help you with it. So with that in mind, oh yeah, and also, yeah, you'll be keeping your PNG drive. We're not doing away with any of that, not touching that. So moving on, just an introduction, I don't know if any of you have seen our website. For those of you that haven't, it's in production, but it does have a number of different categories, different walkthroughs, how to add a printer, how to just do some very specific setup on your computer, frequently asked questions, etc. The address is csshelp.hsa.washington.edu, and I can share that with Michelle, and she can disperse that. So through here, we do have our own OneDrive category. I didn't make a PowerPoint. Instead, I did what I like to do and made a whole bunch of documentation for our website. So that way you can just come review it at your leisure. I will say you had asked about UW IT. We are piggybacking off of them. It's their service, technically. They're the ones that are providing it. So if we have an issue, we'll escalate to them. I've kind of just ripped some of the stuff off of their website, just some of the overview stuff, but you can get a bit more detailed information through their website that I've put here. And basically our site, I just did some guides that I didn't see that they had, just very simple. How do you sign in? How do you share something? Just day-to-day use. So that's where we come in versus the UW IT website. So yeah, OneDrive, some of you have used it. I know you've used it, so you're, all of you have used it.
Yeah.
And
so it's basically, if you've ever used Dropbox or Google Drive in the past, it's very similar. Basically, it's a cloud-based storage solution. You'll kind of get more of an idea of how that works as I go through the demonstration. So basically, you have all of your stuff stored on a server. It's geo-redundant, meaning if something catastrophic happens in Seattle or wherever the data is, it's also in a geographically distinct area as well. So it's in 2 places, 2 or more. You'll also have a local copy on your computer. So the way that works is if you update something on your computer, it'll update on the server. If somebody else has it on their computer, it'll update on their computer simultaneously, near instantly. Depending on the internet connection, perhaps. Almost.
I already have a question. Should I wait and ask questions when you get to that?
We're a small group, so actually that would be okay.
Okay, great.
Specifically on that.
So the folders that are on my computer, I can see and access through where I access all the folders. However, folders that are shared with me that another person created, I can't access through there. I can only access on the web. Is that?
I can show you. Yeah,
okay.
That will be part of it. So I will show you. Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, good.
For sure.
Mine kind of draws into that. I had on my iPad down at Harborview, I was able to use the icon to connect to OneDrive, but now I've somehow become disconnected because I cannot get to your, how you put shared with.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks like when I go into it that I'm still connected, so I'm having to go through to get to OneDrive through the web.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, that's another, yeah,
I'll show you might be things you can check.
okay.
See if some of the settings have changed or something, or to resync it. I'll show you how to sync it to your local
Probably what
computer.
I'll need to do.
I think so for both of you, I think,
Okay.
especially for you. Yours, we'll see.
Okay.
And what the problem is.
Okay.
Okay, so just the general UWIT information that you should know. It's automatically enabled, OneDrive for Business, automatically enabled for UW students, faculty, and staff. As I was telling you just a minute ago, it's not automatically enabled for sponsored, shared, or affiliate NetIDs. There is a provisioning request tool through UWIT. Basically, you just go in and put in the NetID and then say what services you want to activate for it.
Remember that, yeah.
So this is not a good system to use. We're going to be having 16 sites
Mm-hmm.
on one of our studies that, I'm not quite sure how it would work quite yet because we're still working through everything, but we may want them to be able to access some
Right.
documents of ours and things like that. Would that be possible, being that they're not affiliated?
Well, so it's not possible with an individual OneDrive account,
Yeah.
but there are other resources that you can request through UWIT.
So
That gives you a document library, yeah. It operates very similarly to OneDrive, and in fact, you sync things the exact same way. But I'll show that to you kind of
Okay.
towards the end, just the various solutions that you can look into.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. So then, yeah, when people leave, student, faculty, or staff, their accounts will be disabled after 14 days, and then the data is automatically deleted. Student accounts, it's an academic quarter later. Emeritus faculty, they just keep it. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where problems can arise. If somebody just has a bunch of really critical stuff on their individual OneDrive. I mean, I kind of use my OneDrive as things that I'm working on, projects and things, but that don't necessarily need to be shared with the group or on the shared drive.
Kind of like your own personal, really.
Yeah, in many ways, it is for personal work use.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Clarify that.
Right. So you can have up to 1 terabyte of data, which is quite a lot. Every single account has 1 terabyte. You can expand it. I don't imagine an individual one would need to, but if for some reason you do, you can request that to UWIT. The maximum individual file size is 15 gigs, which is also quite large. The thing that's nice for your team, the reason you wouldn't want to use Dropbox or Google Drive is that it has HIPAA and FERPA protection. That's kind of the main point for your team and for many.
Yeah, we have some patient
Right.
data that we store on it, and since we're between Harborview and here, we need to be able to access the files regularly. Yeah.
Approved it for us.
Right. So yeah, and then, this looks scary, but I'll go into it a little bit more. External sharing is disabled. So let's see, I think now I will just show you, some of you this will be fairly, you already know. Some of you I'm just starting from scratch to give you a hands-on tour. So Windows 10 should have this little cloud icon in the bottom right-hand corner, either in the tray or near it. It'll be gray because we're not signed in. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. I'm going to sign in actually, so there's going to be 2 of me in this demonstration. There's going to be admin me and normal me. Admin the abnormal. It is out of the ordinary. Normally these accounts don't have OneDrive. I set it up just for this. So yeah, so you'll sign in. It's kind of like when you go to the web portal for your email. It's very similar. And then, wait, I gotta do that. So just your normal NetID login. And it's gonna give you some information, which I will give to you. And then this is where, so say you do, for whatever reason, have a terabyte of information on OneDrive, and you go to sign in on a computer, you may not want to try and download all of that information onto your computer, or you might not even want it all showing. So you can choose which folders you want to actually sync to your local computer. So I'm just going to have both of those sync. And then, yeah, just kind of gives you a little thing. And you can't access it on your phone with the mobile app. So we'll just open up my OneDrive folder.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I access it on my phone without the OneDrive app. I guess I haven't downloaded that yet. Just going through the web, is it better to use the app? I'm sure it probably functions better.
Yeah, I think it would function better. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And Michelle, we have the app on our iPads if you want to see how it looks different. Because it'll be similar on the phone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, here is, so it acts like any other library, like your documents folder, whatever. It's just another library on here. It's just also syncing to the server. So on that note, let's see, back behind there. So here's the web portal. It's OneDrive. You just type in onedrive.com and it'll take you to the web portal. You just sign in. It's basically the same exact. Put in your email address, takes you to the net ID, and log in. Pretty straightforward. And so here we are on the web interface. So it matches what I have there. And if I create a new folder, hello ADAI. Then you'll see that it just pops up right there pretty quickly. And then on that note, if I take this document, ADAI Word document, just pop it in here, it's going to have that little icon, which means it's syncing, and I'll go over the icons in a minute. Then, is this the right one? Yeah. And then it's already available through the web. So some will obviously take longer than others, depending on your internet connection, et cetera. But yeah, so that's how the syncing works. And then if I wanted to share this, I'm actually going to switch gears to normal me. First with sharing, you can share it from your computer. You just right click and go to share with the OneDrive icon. So you can share a folder, or you can just share an individual document, and then you'll just put in, so there's me, or maybe not. And then you would just send it, and then I'm actually gonna, because I want to show you how to do the syncing that you're.
That's a quick question. Can you create a group list to share with a group that you're sharing with regularly, or?
I believe you can. That is a good question, because you can create groups. Will it let me do like UW underscore? Yeah, it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be handy.
Yeah, so if you give the membership to the group, which will be handy with your individual one, and I think it will be especially handy with the team document library.
Because you've already done it that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
With
Yeah.
stuff you share with our team, or?
No, I shared the larger folder
Oh, I see.
individually with people
I see.
Okay.
as opposed to a group. So the group that you were sharing with, will that allow people to log on and access it individually as themselves, and they don't have to use a group email or anything like that? Like,
They can just use
It
their
will
own.
be shared with them, yeah.
email, okay.
Yeah, they can, yeah. So basically, here.
Yeah.
So, no, not that one. Where did I? Okay, here's normal me. So I'm going to share this. And so the other way to share it is through the web browser. So you just highlight it, share it,
That's what I did.
which, yeah, both ways work. Whichever you you know, use more or feel more comfortable with. So I'm actually going to share this with admin me. Send that. And then, so admin me, the other user, I can just go to shared, and it's now appearing here. And so to your question, you want to sync it on your local computer. You can actually just hit sync here. Once it's shared with you,
Oh.
you just go to your shared folder, find the one you want to sync, open it up, and hit sync.
Okay. And where did it show up under files? Under what? I mean, like if you,
So if you just go into the web,
files, right?
yeah, so this is just
So it just
main
comes up
repository.
under files.
Go to
Okay.
shared.
Shared.
Yeah, so you'll
So you, like if you
Shared.
shared something with me,
That's
and then
where
I
you
want to
go.
sync it. Okay.
precisely.
Yeah.
So you
So
go into the shared, okay.
the shared one here, open it up, and then, yeah, you'll hit, wait, I already have it open. You'll hit sync. It'll open, ask you to do this, just hit open. And then, external sharing, yeah, for sync. Okay, so now it appears under this UW thing.
Oh, okay, great.
So, and it shows who shared it with me, the normal me, and I am now downloading it. It looks like it might have already downloaded.
The OneDrive one up above is your personal one, and the UW one is shared stuff.
Yeah, underneath this UW. So any other people that you open folders from, yeah, it'll come through under this UW.
Okay.
And I think, I'm not sure, I haven't tested it, but if you have some outside people that you sync from theirs, I think it will show their organization and then nest it under that, I think. You'd have to test that if you have people you're working with. That was happening.
I will, well, I haven't synced it yet, so I don't know if it'll say Cincinnati. I know that it has a little icon in the browser, so you can tell it's not UW.
Okay.
But, I'll sync it, I'll find it.
Yeah, let me know. I'm actually very curious because I don't have a way to really test that.
While you're talking, I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, let us know. Report back.
So that's sharing, then syncing. But yeah, and then with the shared document library, you can do different things, and I'll show that. The other thing to note is the status icons. It can be kind of weird. So I did do a little guide, this one. So if you see a document that just has this little cloud, it means that it's only available online. You can still browse your local OneDrive and see the files, and you can still open it. It's just when you open it, it will download it to your computer. It's just so you're saving space. That's the main reason. And then when you open it on your local computer, make a change, again, it will save to the server. Available on this device means that you have already downloaded it. You've opened it before, it's downloaded. The solid green one means you've done this, where you right-click and say, oh, I think this one's already, oh, it's already always saved. I think these ones are already set that way. Okay, mine's already set up to always save, but.
Ours are too.
Okay,
Yeah,
if it's all
yeah,
solid
but
green.
we talked about how, yeah, they're solid green, so they're saved on my local machine along with this server, wherever it is. But in
Yeah.
order to back them up, I take the ones from my local machine and copy them over to the C drive, because we talked about how
Oh,
you
right,
could have
okay.
another backup, right, besides just the server, whoever, or wherever that is.
Yeah, I mean,
I
if it's very sensitive data, it's not a bad idea to have it on there too.
Yeah.
Just so you have,
Well, the other thing, I mean, your C drive, you have the oldest computer at ADAI,
Yeah.
like, that's not what we're.
right, yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I tried to just how the smoke comes from the original age.
so that's doing that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that's good because then, you know, if you lose the internet connection or if you're just out, don't have internet connection for some reason, you can still work on the files. And then as soon as you plug back into the internet, it's going to update the server. So the changes will then flow to the server and then to anybody else.
And it's automatic?
It's automatic. Yeah, as long as it's in your OneDrive folder
Right.
here, yeah.
You
So
don't
as soon
have
as
the
you,
offsite server.
yeah, so as soon as you plug back in, everything gets updated. So those are the main ones, and then this one, again, is just, if somebody has it open, it will show this too.
Experience that.
Okay, yeah, why
And
is
it
it
has,
supposed to be-
also has like our name or something, I think, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
It will tell
yeah,
you
they're
someone's
looking
in
at it,
there.
yeah, or they're editing, or,
Right.
yeah, I think is what it says, yeah.
So for the app, it's just the regular Microsoft OneDrive?
mhm, yep,
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
yeah, sure thing.
So I'm in the web version right now,
Okay.
looking at my shared items. If I wanted to sync that one, I'm not seeing the sync.
So you want to actually open it up.
I'll open it all the way.
And then if it's going to let us, then there will be a sync option. If it's not going to let us, then, yeah. We'll have to look into that.
Okay.
We'll have to look into it if it doesn't show up. It's just loading. Has a download. Oh, no, there's a sync.
There's a sync.
Yeah,
okay.
there's a sync. Yeah, so you have to open up the
You have
folder.
to open the,
Yeah, and then hit sync, and it will sync the whole, it'll sync the folder as
It'll sync the whole folder, so I don't have to click everything in that
Yeah.
folder.
Yeah, for sure. And I included, Microsoft has a list of all the status icons, because there's one, there's a red X where it can't sync for some reason. There's a bunch of different things that it can show. Normally it doesn't, normally these are the ones you'll see. But just in case, you can refer to this or give us a call, obviously. So as I said, you can, set it to always keep on. I think I went over this where you can choose which folders, but say you just don't want all of the folders that you have on your local computer. For whatever reason, space, clutter, you can click on the icon and then go to More and Settings. And you can go to Choose Folders under your OneDrive Hub. And then I can say, hey, I don't want Hello ADAI anymore. We're just going to not sync that. So that's just another way you can customize what shows. And then Files on Demand is what we've been talking about, where files will only download when you open them. So you can actually set that to be a default thing, or you can actually turn that off if you just want all of your files. You can go to Settings again, and okay, yeah, so I actually have it unchecked here. So that's why they just downloaded all the files. So it just depends on what you like. If you do have space issues, which I imagine probably not, but if you do have a lot of files, that's to keep in mind. So now I'm going to show you collaboration. So I'm going to put two screens side by side. So that's normal me and admin me. Close that. And so normal me has shared this folder with admin me. We both have access to the same file, so I'm going to open it up as two different people. So it could be Michelle and then Tanya or whoever. So we're both in here now. Needs a minute to load. Yeah, I think it just, there we go. Okay. So now it shows you the cursors. This is my admin here because I'm on my admin account and I'm typing along. Just say, how is it going? And then normal me can say, it's going well.
oh, wow.
Oh, but I messed it up. Oh, well. But, it's updating in real time. You can see where normal me's cursor is on here. And then I can see where admin me is. He's over here. And then, hi, normal stuff. Oh, yeah. And what's that?
You do that often.
With yourself.
Asking for friends.
For screenshot purposes, I have done a lot of this, so that I could do documentation on the website. So yes, I have been.
When I call too often.
My brother is in grad school here right now, and he said when they get group projects, and it's mostly people Chrissy's age, like my brother's older for students, but they do their group projects, and they'll just jump in there. They'll be like, okay, we're going to work on our final paper at 4, and they all get on and are like, when he's like, I'm trying to just read and they've already changed and rewritten, like it's all, and it's like, it's a big like the multi.
It can get kind of messy.
Well, I can think of it like, going to a preschool and there's the big white butcher paper and all the kids
And
have their
all of them.
fingerprints.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's a little easier to clean up than that, but yeah. Well, and it does have a chat, so you can click on the other person's icon here and do a join group chat.
Wow.
If it will, seems like it's going a little slow right now. Let's see.
And that's just all under
There we go.
the functions, right? All of this.
Yeah, it's just
So right
within the word, font. Yeah, it's all within just clicking on.
Okay.
Jump to where they are. If you have a really big document and you're just, what are you working on? You can click on their thing. Because if we have multiple people, you'll see multiple circles with letters.
Right.
Just click on the corresponding person, find out what they're working on.
Okay.
So,
I was always like terrified I'd blow up something if I clicked on somebody else's icon.
no, you can interact with it. And then, so I just started a chat with myself. I got a notification. Oh, hello, oh, hi,
So that's the
Normal
chat,
stuff.
okay,
yeah.
regular chat.
So, you can do it through the web portal. You can also do it so you can have people using their desktop Outlook and the web portal at the same time. So I could go in here and I could open up that same document, and I'm actually in the document with my other two accounts. And we're editing it all at the same time. I will say, at least with Word 2016, it's a little bit laggy. Sometimes it works really well, sometimes it's kind of laggy. I actually moved over to Office 365, the local version of Office 365. That works pretty well.
That's what we're, for our suite of stuff, we're using 365.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you could just use your local one, and from my testing, it seems to work pretty well. And you can chat. So older versions of Office, you'll sign in, and you can't chat, which, depending on what you're using it for, maybe that's not a big issue. So yeah, you can just have multiple people. The local ones will lock a paragraph. This one's pretty forgiving. You can kind of both be in the same spot. But if you use the desktop version, it will lock a paragraph. So only one person can be working on a certain section at a time, which can kind of avoid what you're talking about with the finger painting. Try and avoid that. So Office 365 is good for that. There's some good functionality. So we can also help if you don't have Office 365. That's something we can look into upgrading you to. That's also free through UW to have that installed. And you can also put comments. So you can leave a comment here. So I already.
That's nice, yeah.
And then if you leave a comment and then open it up in here, it'll look very similar to, I know you're very familiar with track changes.
So are you, right?
Yeah, now I am, for sure. So yeah, you'll see the comments here as you normally would. So that's collaboration, and now,
Maybe, forgive me if you did just touch on this, but when we talked on the phone a while back, you said that you thought it was preferable to make changes on your local copy rather than the web copy of the document. Remember that conversation?
Well, I guess it depends. So what I would say is that the local versions of Office are more robust than the online versions, these online versions. So that's the main reason I would recommend it, unless you just don't need the functionality that, the full Office has.
Okay, so it's just for the functionality,
It's
not for
more
any other reason.
for functionality.
It's definitely
But it's an
more functional.
important, that's an important.
It is.
That's what frustrated Maureen with having to use Excel in the browser, and she didn't know how to download it yet, and it's a totally different,
It is.
having it on
Especially
the
Excel.
Yeah.
Especially Excel.
Oh, and even Word, I mean, you can't even use copy with the mouse. You have to do your Control-C and Control-V.
Oh, it won't let you just highlight. Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
and then also, you can't undo change quite the same way.
Right, yeah.
If you accidentally like
Right,
before like
right.
something, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So there is that.
So, in case you guys are waiting for the results of this, the Cincinnati files appear under UW.
Oh, it does.
Like these from Ben Crom, he's in Cincinnati, so it's still
Oh,
under the UW.
it's still under
icon.
UW, okay.
Yep.
At least it's separated out, so it's not in your stuff, but yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, so there's
So.
UW.
So these are the ones shared with me from other people, and then the ones up here that are just
Are
one
yours?
W are mine.
Right, but it
And-
did go under the UW.
But it went under UW, yeah.
And that's from the outside organization.
And that's right.
Yeah, that's, okay. So there you go. So now to the part that I think is probably perhaps most important for you is, where was I going to? It's the external side of things. So basically what I did for this presentation is I emailed UW IT, or I submitted a form and created a SharePoint site just as a test to show you how it works. So I think I'm going to pop over real quick actually to our external stuff just to give you an overview. There's 4 different resources. They have a website that goes over it. It's pretty robust. I think it's almost a little too busy, but there's a lot of information here. It's worth looking over. I just kind of distilled down some of the main points of the 4 different resources to just try and give you the most information as little as possible. So you have a SharePoint online site. That is a full website you can use. You can customize it quite a bit. You can do a lot of things with it to automate processes and workflows and forms. It's a good collaborative tool, and it also has the document storage. The online modern communication site, I don't know, that might interest Meg or someone, I'm not sure, but it's more of kind of WordPressy. It's more of a publishing, meant to be, for multiple users, a wide audience, dispersing information, web pages and stuff. That is an option though. And then I think you already have a Microsoft team. If I remember right, Caleb, I think, got one online. It's kind of, it's more or less just another interface for a lot of this Office 365 stuff. It's got chat and video conferencing built in. It's almost a glorified chat program, really. But you can access a database, a library, a document library through it, and also share out to external users, and work on it, and add in other apps like Planner, add in other custom bookmarks, websites. So it's very customizable. It's a nice collaborative interface. And then the Office 365 group is, it's a little bit, it's again, all the Office 365 stuff. You've got your shared Outlook inbox and a shared calendar if that's something that interests you. That's the main reason to use that, but it can also be incorporated with the team and some of this other stuff for permissions and various other things. So I just went ahead and made, oh yeah, and this is actually kind of important. This one has the same 1 terabyte limit for these resources. Can be expanded to 5 terabytes. You can also get it all the way up to 25 terabytes with a business case justification to UW IT. I haven't checked. I was going to ask them if it costs anything, and I'll update the website when I hear back. They didn't. Usually they'll mention costs straight up, in my experience, and they didn't. So it makes me believe that if you have a good enough business case, I don't know that that would be useful for you, but you never know. So yeah, 25 terabytes is the max. So yeah, and I have a link to the form. It's pretty straightforward. We can obviously help you, kind of walk you through it. But you just, say which one you want. They kind of give you another overview. And then the important thing that I've noted here is if you do fill out the form, you want to make sure that you put what kind of external sharing. You should put that in the notes field. Because some of these have external sharing by default, and UW IT's website tells you which ones do. Some of them don't, so some of them you just need to specify. So, and to give you just, kind of an idea with my test one, it's very similar to OneDrive. I mean, it looks very similar to the interface. You have a lot of the same stuff you can do. And then once you've actually shared it with somebody, you can do the same sync thing that you did with your outside institution. So I could sync it, signed in on the wrong profile, but I think, so let me, oh no, it won't let me.
So SharePoint is also HIPAA for compliant, right? SharePoint and OneDrive is the same. I mean, how are they different?
Well, it kind of, yeah, I mean, so what this is a SharePoint document library, technically. And so that is used a bunch of different things, including your Microsoft team will have that document library behind it.
Okay.
And I think that is the backbone of OneDrive too,
And the URL
essentially.
for OneDrive, so that's,
So yeah, I think it is basically the backbone for all of these components. So it's going to work very similarly. It's just with this, you can, if I go home, you can actually edit this thing, do custom links, put in, an actual front page. So like for instance, do I have? Yeah. I think this is ours. Yeah, so I mean, this is just our little internal SharePoint site that we've created for us with links to just different things that we use, and it also has a document library. So you can have at it, make a custom link, but that might not be what you want. I mean, it just depends. The Teams thing might work really well for your group, where you just all have that chat interface and you're just accessing the different things through there. It really just depends on what you guys decide and how you use it. So
because the SharePoint is kind of the backbone for these other things, if we have documents that we set up the right binder in OneDrive, can we sort of just log in at SharePoint and those documents are still there, or do we have to move them over to SharePoint?
Well, so they'll be under your individual account currently, right?
Right, yeah.
So I would say, I mean, you could share it with this and it would appear, but at the root of it, it's still under your individual, so I would recommend moving it over.
I see, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Because especially if, if one of you leaves, and that's actually something that should be in the team depository,
Okay.
you'll want to.
So when you move it, is that just copying files over,
Or is it a sync?
or is it a sync thing, or how do you move them over to?
The way I would do it is I would do a sync. So I would sync this to my local computer, and then I would just move the folders over
To SharePoint.
to this. And then that would, so you would have this knowledge base thing, this SharePoint thing would show up under UW, and I would just click and drag into there,
Okay.
So it'll be nested under there. And then it will be actually not just shared, but actually under that account. And so you can share it with external people. It'll just pop up a little thing saying, hey, you're sharing it with somebody outside. It's a little reminder. They'll get an email, and then they'll have to click on that link and put in a code, or at least I did. I don't know if maybe you went through the
so
same
that they,
thing.
the right person, because they've already got the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there might have been a code, that sounds right.
And then the other way is you can actually get permissions. This is how you would want to set it up with a group, is you'd actually, so I've added Wesley, my colleague, and you can share it. And actually give them a membership, not just sharing the folder. So, one of those 4 resources.
What's the difference between membership and sharing the folder?
So if you just share the folder, well, that's where I was actually kind of doing some testing myself, because I'm not sure if you just share it, if they can sync it or not. But now that we've done this test, maybe you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with this, you could actually give them site permissions to the whole site and edit or full control.
Gotcha.
Move and delete and stuff. Whereas if you just share a folder with someone, they'll just have that folder, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a read-only,
Yeah, you could give them edit, but it would still just be to that whatever you shared.
Right.
Whereas with your team, you probably want to give them just, okay, you guys can do everything in this whole environment.
Right.
Or
You can, because I'm wondering where, if you want your team to have access to most everything, but maybe there's 1 or 2 confidential folders, you can lock those down.
you can set permissions. Yeah, for sure.
So had we known this when we started, we would have created the SharePoint folder system for everybody instead of having to create a OneDrive and share it with everybody.
Is that, so that's basically how you've done it?
That's how I.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you did want to move to something like that for what you have, then yeah, you would request one of these resources. I think you already have a Teams though. If you want to move forward with that, we'll need to talk a bit, because I think you have a Teams, which means I think you might already have a document library.
Okay.
And we would just need to get that all the permissions, all the stuff set up with you.
Okay, and that would be for all of ADAI, there's already a team.
Caleb had one created, I think it's for all of ADAI.
Would you not set them up individually for different groups within ADAI? Or is that what it makes
You could do that too. I mean, yeah, you can request it from, I mean, they just gave me a test one that has a terabyte. So, I mean, if you have an actual business case, I'm sure they'll give you.
So we wouldn't want to share with everybody, and yeah, it would be just for.
You could do individual
Yeah.
repositories. Yeah.
It'd have to
Yeah.
be that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could, yeah. I mean, there could be one ADAI one with little ones, or however you want. Yeah. So that's what I've got. So were there any other questions that came up throughout that, or? We kind of did questions as we went through too.
Yeah.
So that's fine if there aren't any.
Which is, it always works better for me because I can't remember what you were just saying anyway.
Right.
Time to do stuff. So if I ask my question in the moment, I remember better.
Well, and you have the website too.
Yeah, that's
It
great.
does go through a lot of the stuff that I talked about with signing in, syncing, sharing, all the status settings, how collaboration works. And then the external sharing, I just put some pretty generic info and the links to the forms and stuff, but we can help. I mean, that's the thing, it is UW IT, but we can obviously kind of point you in the right direction and give you some guidance.
So when we're ready for this other CTN study that has 16 sites, I can call you?
You can, yeah. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say it would be a good idea to talk to us, and we can just kind of help facilitate with
Right.
IT.
Excellent.
Because, yeah, and then helping with permissions and things
Right.
like that, we can help out with that. So, yeah.
Look at me. Eric is gonna be so happy to hear from me more. I think you should just have an office up here.
Yeah,
Make it easier.
I do like the windows. I think I mentioned that every time.
I always tell people that if we have the waterfront view of the car wash,
Yeah.
the beachfront view of the Shell.
We actually have a paste-on image of a window opening up to the
Yeah,
ocean.
okay.
This big,
We did that in one of our research rooms, that was
Yeah.
literally like 4 foot by 4 foot, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Is yours a Microsoft window?
I look over at it every so often, but I mean, I can walk outside, and I do. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's just cats. There's an octopus in mine.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But other than that, yeah.
Funny, I have an octopus in my office here. Did you ever notice that?
Oh, I didn't. Actually, no, I have, yeah, I do.
Do you have a sense for how many departments and groups are using this functionality, either with SharePoint or OneDrive?
Well, I mean, we were fairly heavily on SharePoint. We kind of hybrid use it and some other stuff. UW Medicine, they use it quite a bit, actually. I used to work there. I mean, it was a pretty big deal because of the HIPAA compliance. So, and they're a huge organization. And as far as other departments, I'm not sure. The ones we support, I mean, it comes up. But I think part of me doing the website also was to try and get the word out, because it is a good resource. I mean, not necessarily if your team doesn't necessarily want to go for it, you can still use it individually just for your stuff. So it's, like you said, not on your C drive, so when your computer explodes, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
I mean, there are departmental share drives too, so, but sometimes, you don't want to put all your stuff there, so. And you have a terabyte, and it's free, and,
Yeah.
it's there, so, yeah, it's a good resource. It's a very good resource. I use it a lot. I really like it.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, all for coming to, learn about it. So, just let us know if, you need any help with anything. Yeah. Yeah.
We
Oh,
will.
you're looking at me.
Oh, you don't have it
You're
set up.
worrying me.
You don't have it set up yet, right?
Oh, okay.
They're like, oh, we've got it. I'm like, okay.
We've got OneDrive, I mean, I think we've got a workable thing for now, but for the future projects, I think we should set up a SharePoint to do it. Like, that solves the problems we have, because a lot of our people aren't UW, so
Right.
it will
Right,
allow.
and if somebody leaves, like,
Yeah, and then
like,
it's not one person.
left.
Yeah. Yeah, remember that, if I leave, you guys have 14 days to.
Yeah, so we may have notice would be good.
Yeah.
Preferable, let us know.
Tanya's timeline sort of approach.
Yeah, right.
Something
A little bit of a buffer.
All right, well, yeah, and then I'll send the website to Michelle, and she can work that out. And then, yeah, there are some other guides, take a look around at it. And if you have any questions or suggestions, I'm still building the website, so I would love any suggestions for ideas for articles or just feedback in general. So all of that is very appreciated. So, yeah.
Great, this is super helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very glad.
Glad,
Very glad.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're very welcome.
Bravo, well done.
Well, yeah, Eric is really good at describing things that people aren't familiar with, and as a Mac guy, I am learning more.
Oh,
every
God.
time.
I don't know anything about Macs. I know a little bit.
Did you find out the browser?
Oh yeah, I should do that. Yeah, I'm gonna need to do a little bit of setup, because I think I'm on Nicole's account.
Okay.
And then I just do stop share for Zoom.
Someone else on.
Yeah, they already.
One other person